Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hammered and Homers. I'm your co-host, Jacob Pearl. Alongside me is, of course, your mom's favorite little leaguer, the Hunter Malone. We took a week off, graduations. He had Connor's signing day. We're busy, but we're back. We've been to some games. We're going to give you some of our experiences. But Hunter, first and foremost, how are you?
Doing fantabulous. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I am tired from travel. But as always, let's get cracking.
You have a can?
I accidentally cracked it before we started. Sparkling
Mine's
water,
mine's not a can. Mine's Propel.
hydration. I'm so tired of drinking because I drank all weekend. I had so many Bud Selects yesterday. And then prior to this show, I had the new Dr. Pepper creamy coconut zero sugar. Game
Mm.
changer. Pretty good if you like coconut. Just basically like their version of a dirty soda. So it's pretty good. I like it. I think cream soda is still my favorite go-to, but this is gonna fill the void for a little bit. And then we got a little Le Croix peach pear.
Or drink
Peach.
one of those.
It's just I like having some variety in the fridge. But of course, Hunter, as always, we are sponsored by Florida Avenue Brewing, home of your My Boy Blue. Hunter, you know what time it is. Tell me about a guy I forgot about.
Yeah, I was on my grind while I was in I had COVID. So I was grinding MLB The Show. And I was like, you know who I used to spam back in the day? Little submarine lefty. Give me Javi Lopez. 6'4" submariner, former fourth round draft pick in 98. The guy who was drafted before I was born. Drafted by the Cardinals, but has a career WAR of 8, a 30 and 17 win-loss record. As he was pretty much a career middle relief guy, like just a specialties lefty, 4 World Series rings. And I think the biggest honorable mention, or
Bless you.
the biggest note to his career is my favorite pitcher to spam or emulate. I would play wiffle ball and be trying to be Javi Lopez, lefty submariner. When I got it down in wiffle ball, it was nasty. But yeah, Javi Lopez, a guy you forgot about, or a guy you probably didn't even know.
I'm staying on the pitcher train here, and I was looking through, trying to think of some names here, and I was just typing in some different first names, and I saw a name that stood out to me: Jake Odorizzi. Reason why he was significant is because he was on the Rays back when I was in high school. And I was like, that name seems really familiar. I saw that last name on the back of a lot of girls' little t-shirt jerseys at school. So, but I mean, nothing crazy. 3.99 ERA, right? 74 wins, 13 WAR. Nothing crazy, but that's the point of a guy you forgot about, is that he's nothing special, but for some reason, ball
You love
knowledge
him.
makes you remember him. So, without further ado, there, of course, Hunter, we go into our favorite segment of the week: Hammered and Homer Players of the Week. Give me your hand.
Yeah, a guy who simply has just been in a hangover for a very long time. I mean, this guy slumped heavily prior to a back issue, going hitless this week, 0 for 25, and dropping the slash line to a career low of 179. He's also got a 286 and 353. Corey Seager, hammered, hungover, and simply just miserable.
Yeah, for me, Hammered Player of the Week. It's more of a hammered moment that went viral, and that is the Yankees not knowing how to throw to home plate, giving up 2 runs on a pass ball that ultimately gave the Mets the win on Friday, I think Saturday night's game with Rodon on the mound. I just remember seeing that. It's just like, man, classic Yankees, middling slump. But I thought, when you first see it, you're like, the Mets did all this? No, it was the Yankees. And the Mets actually took the Subway Series. And I think that moment is a big part of it, because I don't know if the Mets were going to come back and win that game after that moment. Hunter, Give me your homered player of the week.
The homered one I felt like was pretty easy for this week. I mean, he had pretty much it was a historic game-winning stretch over the past week. I mean, this guy was batting 625. He was 10 of 16 with 4 homers, 8 RBIs, a double, 7 walks, and he stole a base across 6 games. Give me Gavin Sheets.
Nice. For me, my homered player of the week is actually not even a guy who played baseball. Not even a person who's on the field. In fact, they were in right field for the St. Louis Cardinals all weekend. Tarps Off crew presented by Stephen F. Austin Club Baseball. These dudes just got the tarps flying, the boys juiced, and the Cardinals fans not only were loving it, Ollie loved it. He even bought tickets for them for the next 3 days, and they were amazing. When I was at the game on Sunday, and the Tarps crew took up over 2.5 sections, they helped spur the Cardinals to 2 wins against the Royals in taking the I-70 series. But those guys, Stephen F. Austin Club Baseball, shout out you guys. Shout out Tarps Off. They're doing one last hurrah Tuesday night. Can't wait to see it one last time at Busch. And maybe the playoffs.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
without further ado here, let's dive into the meat and potatoes of the show, Hunter. I'm pulling up our notes here. I mean, we've been to a bunch of different games this past week. You went to 2, 1 college, 1 minor league baseball. I had a fantastic time at the Cardinals. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start in college, minor league? Do we want to start with the majors and my green seats? Where do you want to go, Hunter?
well, since you talked about Tarps Off, I feel like it's only right that we pass it over to you. Let's hear how the game went.
Yeah. So, very lucky enough. Shout out the Bersingers. They have 4 seats behind home plate, 5 rows up. We call them the green seats. And what's nice about the green seats is that it's all you can eat and drink. They have waiters and waitresses who come up to you, so you don't ever have to leave your seat. The buffet was nice. I had a nice little breakfast spread, some salad, some shrimp, right? Some pastries, some dessert, a nice Diet Coke. Get the day started right. You know, they had a beach tote giveaway, so that was very nice to receive. But I did trade that tote for a Stan Musial military bobblehead, of course, so that was great. The bobblehead is not here, though. It's in my office at Baylor. But the vibes, never been higher. Really great crowd for a Sunday, given what the Cardinals typically have been in the last several years. When we've gone, they've been pretty empty the last 2 years. And the seats were fantastic. The only downside is that you're in the sun for 3 hours, and it's hot, it's brutal, but the view is spectacular. You have the arch in the background. You get to see Bobby Witt and Michael Garcia close up. You get to see Jordan Walker up close. Palante pitching. Yeah, Kolek pitching, and he shoved. Got a bunch of the guys to roll out, but the service is top notch. You just go, I want a Bud Select. Two minutes later, Bud Select's in your hand. I want ice cream, little dibs. Ma'am, can I get some dibs, please? They bring you out dibs. You want popcorn? They bring you out a little bucket of popcorn. Ma'am, I would love another Bud Select. Sometimes I didn't even need to speak. I just raised the Bud Select bottle, and she just gave me a thumbs up. Bud Select was there. Bud Select, for those who don't know, Budweiser came out what was basically, if you took Budweiser, Bud Light, and Michelob Ultra, and it had a kid, that is the beer. It has the taste of Budweiser with the calories and carbs of Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. This is what it was supposed to be. And for some reason, it never took off except in St. Louis. And so, like, every time I go back, it's the only beer that I want. Like, if I see it on tap somewhere, I want me a little Bud Select. As for the game, like I said, the Tarps Off crew was out again, brought the energy. They were super fun. People throughout the stands were taking off their shirts and having fun, and the energy was great. Obviously, we didn't win. We unfortunately got shuttied on Sunday. Man, and vibes were up. Nathan Church had a phenomenal grab in the outfield full extension, robbing Bobby Witt of a what would have been a like a triple for Bobby in that right field corner in St. Louis. Snags it, unbelievable stuff. I really love Busch Stadium. It's home to me. You go there and you just feel this. It's this beautiful mix of pastime and modernality, and everything you want in a ballpark is what Busch offers, I think. The only thing I think at times can beat it is like PNC Park has probably the best view in all of baseball with the Three Rivers Bridge. But like you get the arch in the background, you got the buildings, right? You have Ballpark Village in left field. You have the big Budweiser on top of the scoreboard. You have the clock. You have all these different things that I think make Busch Stadium super special. And I think if you're like a modern, like it's so ahead of its time when it was built back in like 2006 that it's like you look at it now and it's still just like it stands the test of time 20 plus years later. And it's never going to be like a Fenway or a Wrigley where it has so much history, right? That they're never going to change a thing about it. But I think when you look at it compared to like some other ballparks, it is one of the best modern ballparks in America. And just from what you can see and how you feel and sit and go and the bar and the beer and everything that comes with it, it's just like almost like a no-brainer of how great of a ballpark that is, given I've been to my fair share, you've been to your fair share. So Busch was amazing. Had special treatment nonetheless, but I will say this, if you can do the all-inclusive, obviously you don't have to do the green seats. They have multitude of all-inclusive offerings. You have the chance to do the all-inclusive and it's not like a super hot day, you can get down like your money's worth and more of beer and food. Like having 3 Bud Selects, like if it wasn't in the green seats and we were in the outfield where the other all-inclusive was, like we did way back, like you make your money up because it's like $60 to sit out there, and all you can eat and drink all game as long as it's not like blazing hot in the middle of the summer. So it's a good deal, I think, depending on what you want from it and what you do. It's pretty much like a no-brainer of like if you and your boys are gonna be like let's just have fun at a baseball game. Just go in all in on the all-inclusive, pay the $80, sit in the outfield in those seats, and just have a good time. Just keep ripping beers. Yeah.
Uber there.
Uber.
Definitely Uber there.
Drink responsibly. Hunter, we'll go down. So let's talk about your minor league experience. Dunedin Blue Jays, your old stomping grounds against the Tampa Tarpons. Talk to me about that game.
Yeah, I mean, I went in there with the intention of trying to watch JoJo Parker a second time. Surprisingly, the first time he played third base, which I honestly think is going to be his best position. It's a little bit thicker out there. But this time he was playing shortstop. And he's just big, athletic, and strong. I'm looking down because I got my notes here, and this is what I was writing while I was there. Now he struck out twice and then walked, so I didn't get to see him put the ball in play. But last time I was there, he did homer. And then I got to sit there and I watched one of the top 10 prospects for the Yankees, pitcher named Chase Hampton. Now, his fastball sits 92 to 94. One thing I noticed is he cannot throw that curveball for shit. I mean, it was in the dirt or it was dick high. Like he cannot throw that. Changeup is hard. Sits at 88. I don't. If you throw 92 and then 88 and a changeup, it's not enough of a split for you to be dynamic. I honestly kind of found it hard that he was a top 10 prospect. That he slowed her home with runners on. I got a note here. The third base saved the kid from a run. And yeah, she held up the stop sign on something that was like like super obvious he should have scored on. Then he hung a curveball, and then he got bailed out on his pitch in the dirt. Another note I have on him is kid loves his fastball. He just kept pumping in 92 and kind of getting away with it. Uh, then he threw another curveball in the dirt. Like I noted, he can't throw fucking curveballs, so he threw one in the dirt, allowed the guy on third to score easy. Found it weird he got pulled on an 0-2 count after 44 total pitches. No suspected injury. Thought that was weird. And so as I was watching, I realized that the second baseman, Gomez, can't field worth a shit at second. I mean, this guy bobbled every ball his way. Just could not field it properly. And then I noted he better mash. And I agree with that. If you can't field, you gotta mash. It's a good take by me. Montero, fourth inning homer. I mean, had that sound like I didn't even have to like look at it. I was writing something and I heard it and I was like, that's gone. And the guy next to me was like, how did you? I was like, you didn't just hear it. It sounds different. It was 410 dead center. Like he killed it. That's the first baseman because in the fifth inning he drops steps a spinner, and he got eaten up. Just cost his pitcher a double. He followed that up by striking out, and then in the seventh inning, the ball was hit hard to his right. He didn't go after it. He ran away to the bag, so he cost this guy another runner on base. Um, Defense, not the Yankees' specialty, not the Tarpon specialty. So clearly, this is a developmental thing. They just don't go over defense. Let's see. The other ones are just like minor league. Like just we got Willie Montero. He's from Tampa. What I noticed is he can't hit. Hand starts too low, doesn't get in attack mode quick enough, will never catch up to gas up and in, and unless there's a breaking ball to speed up his bat, he'll never make contact. And he didn't get a hit all game, so I was right. One dude homered twice. He had a low batting average, but honestly, the wind was blowing out where he was hitting it. Like it was blowing hard to right field, and he just got it up in the wind enough for like one of them to go out. And then the next one, he absolutely just smashed in the right center. Tarpons won. I didn't realize that the Tarpons also play the New York song, so they were playing that on loop, so that was pretty annoying. Honestly, kind of nauseating. Like I like Frank Sinatra, but not New York, New York. So I got out of there pretty quick. But that was my notes on the Tarpons so far. I felt like I'll probably go to a couple more games, finalize my notes, and then we'll post them. I'll come up with a scouting report on those guys. A lot of those younger league guys, they just don't have scouting reports on them yet. And college guys, those are all pretty much non-existent. Like those are kept secretly in stuff. So that's why I wanted to go to Wichita State and USF, see what I was looking at and see if I could even come close to it. And honestly, that game was kind of sick. I went with my brother Connor, who just committed. He's going to Eastern Florida. And I mean, it was a pitcher's duel to begin with. It was 0-0 after I think it was 4 innings. And then all of a sudden, two teams explode for 6 runs over 3 innings. So we're sitting at a 6-6 game. Like it was insane. And USF needed it. Like USF is a 32-20 team, but they're 11-15 in conference. They were tied, I think, for last or second for last. And I'm like, you have 30 wins on the season. Like that's the fourth best record in conference. But as you sat in this game, they were outside looking in on the conference play, and Wichita State was 27-27, tied 11-15 with them in the conference. And basically, USF ended up beating them 7-6 and 10, and a winner take all matchup for Sunday afternoon, which Wichita State ended up winning, put them in. The Bulls just ran out of luck. They missed out on the tournament. But while we were there, we noticed there's 3 scouts, and we're trying to figure out who were they scouting, and it was USF shortstop Relayford. This shortstop's got a big arm, big hair too, and he just looked good. Like he got an RBI single on the left side. I mean, against a shifted infield with bases loaded in the bottom of 10th. So they had 3 on one side, 1 on the left, and he was able to get it just underneath the shortstop's glove to walk it off. But he went 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs on the night, hitting 2 run doubled and the 4 run fifth inning. Let's see. USF erased a 6-4 deficit after Wichita State had scored 6 unanswered. To come across the sixth and the seventh, was scratching it. And the big guy that I noticed is actually a friend of Connor's. My brother is Jackson Mirza. This freshman's in the USF's lineup. And he led the way offensively, going 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. One of them was a hustle double, and he turned the corner and just was gone. I was like, that boy fast. Like it's not 80 speed, but it's that boy got wheels. And it was just turn the corner, straight line, beeline, bang, I'm there. Also had an RBI and 2 runs scored. A few of the other guys had a couple of hits, but I thought it was very impressive by the freshman. And then also another freshman, Michael Senray, he started on the mound for USF. He held Wichita State hitless through the first 3 innings. And then Wichita State, on the other guy, his guy, pitched very well. I think he went 4 innings and he went shutout ball. But it was funny, like USF's guy was just everyone was getting over it and rolling over and hitting ground balls. And the Wichita State's guy, USF was getting under it, hitting weak pop flies. So it's very funny to see a fly ball pitcher and a ground ball pitcher in a world where, everyone's throwing 100 miles an hour. Well, these guys ain't throwing that hard. They're throwing 91, 92. Some of them are sitting 88. Um, but it was a very good game. Now we've got the American Conference tournament that's going to be here in Clearwater. It's going to be Thursday through Sunday. USF won't be in it, but Wichita State will be in it, and I will be there. So catching a little more college ball, getting a few more eyes on a lot more people. So I'm very excited to be there on that. And brings us to not another game, but the future look ahead. We hinted at the American Conference League. We're going to go over the Power Four tournaments here, but first, we got to talk about the biggest name of all,
Yep.
University of North Florida, number 1 seed, lapping it up. I mean, they took the Graphite Division title over in the A-Sun. You and I are both alumni. One of us is a graduate. I'll let you figure that out at home. But the USF or the UNF baseball team under head coach Coach Joe, he capped off. I mean, just an outstanding 2026 campaign. They had a 31-22 overall record and an impressive 22-8 marking conference play. Now, the Ospreys captured the A-Sun Graphite Division title, like I said, highlighted by a historic 20-win conference stretch. Insane. I mean, they went in conference. I said 22-8. I mean, it's insane what they did. I mean, I think that's the most in programs since joining the Division 1 and the first year that Harmon Stadium has AstroTurf. So
Yep.
new field, new energy, win the conference, and most importantly, being successful in the River City Rumble against Jacksonville. I mean, they also challenged themselves going up against Florida State, Florida. So it was fun to watch them, especially us being away and watching them kind of through social media and then tuning in on games on ESPN Plus. Just a fun team. Like there was just something about them that outside looking in, you're like, hold on, this isn't the UNF team that like we got to watch. Like there's something different about this team, and seeing them go and win the conference, I'm excited to see what they do in the tournament. I hope they make the big one, and we'll be rooting on them.
Yeah, I mean, talking about baseball, man. I mean, the UNF Ospreys, they got one, two, three, four dudes who bat over 300 right now. Which I'll tell you for free, I didn't see maybe one dude batted over 300 when I was at UNF. The team was rough. Rest in peace, Coach TP. He was the coach before Mercade or Mercadante, and he lost his battle to cancer like several years ago. But he was a big integral part of like UNF baseball, what it became. They're led by Ben Sean and or Sean Benjamin and Gia Gomez and Boone Hosey, and these guys are mashing. They hit super well. I mean, I'm looking at these numbers here, Hunter. I mean, Matthew Farner has 12 home runs, man. Like that's a pretty impressive number in college baseball, especially in a league like the A Sun. But they just hit well, and I think honestly their strongest thing that I think is more underrated than I don't think gets enough praise is Dakota Stone is a Friday night shove, dude. 7-2 this year, 14 appearances, had 11 games started, pitched 74 innings, had 95 strikeouts on the season. Opposing batting averages were 198. He had a 2.42 ERA, and this guy shoved. Shoved. This guy was incredible for the Ospreys. I mean, the bullpen did some really nice pieces, right, as well. I mean, I'm looking at a lot of guys here who made appearances. You know, I'm looking at Kai Edwaru. He has a 3.62, but he shoved here. Looking at the strikeouts, 38, 43, 50. Like a lot of these guys are in 30 plus strikeout territory, you know, and obviously led by the big horse Dakota Stone with 95 on the year. He's only given up 3 home runs, only 20 earned. Impressive. Like the pitching for the Ospreys is the most impressive piece that I've noticed this year. Obviously, 22-8 in an A-Sun in a conference that's typically like pretty much dominated by Stetson or FGCU. It's nice to finally be on the right side of things for once. I am really concerned about, you know, the bracket and hoping things go our way because you never know with postseason baseball. You never know how things are going to shake out, and you got to play to live the next day and not think too far ahead. And I really hope we get there. I think we're dominant enough. I think Ace, I don't know what the format is. I don't think it's single elim. I think it's double. So if that's the case, I think the Ospreys have a great chance to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament for the first time in, I'm going to be honest, I think it would probably be the first time in like 20 plus years since the Ospreys have been in the big dance. So really, really excited for what that may open up with. Without further ado here, let's talk about the big four. Where do you want to start? I feel like we should start probably in the most intriguing conference, and that is the ACC. I want to start there. I'm looking at the bracket, and you have some really like sneaky teams in this conference, in this tournament that like could easily shake up the whole thing, right? Your top four, they have the double bye of Georgia Tech, UNC, Florida State, and Boston College, right? Not very often you hear a team up in the Northeast doing damage like this. You have Miami and Wake Forest sitting there in the 5 and 6 spot. Hunter, talk to me a little bit about the top four of these teams here. Georgia Tech, North Carolina being a perennial top 5 all season. We know Georgia Tech's got power, but UNC has the pitching this year with the power. And when these two teams faced, UNC took them to the woodshed. So talk to me a little bit about the top 4 seeds here of Georgia Tech, UNC, Florida State, and the Boston.
I'll start with one. I'll start with Georgia Tech going 45-9. The regular season champions, and honestly, they have the best offense in all of college baseball. I mean, they average damn near 10 runs a game, and they have a top tier pitching led by top prospect. Was it Lackey? He's supposed to go top. I think he's supposed to go 4th over there. I mean, you hope that they are gonna, or you would think that they're gonna win the tournament. Their consensus top 3 team capable of outslugging anyone. Obviously, with the buys, earning the luxury of resting their arms while the bottom of the seeds are going to exhaust themselves. I told you earlier, this Georgia Tech team feels different. Like you often see like the good LSU teams that won. They've got 2, 3 dominant arms that just shove and shut down a dominant lineup. I mean, this team, 1 through 9, they're dudes. Like, this is not a team, like, you might be lucky to shut them down once. I don't think you can shut them down twice. I think their hitting is always going to be there. And like I said, they have really good pitching to where even if you're off hitting, their pitching is going to come up and just, it's got that special feeling. I told you about UNF. Georgia Tech has that special feeling. Now, the Tar Heels, they've won 9 of their last 10 ACC series. And if they're going to win the tournament, it'll be because of their elite and deep pitching staff, as you touched. I mean, they match up beautifully against the field as they're the only team to win a series against Georgia Tech. Now, I worry about UNC because obviously to win that series, you got to show your arms. You got to go out and win it. And now that Georgia Tech's seen what they've got the second time around, it's kind of like the second and third time around a lineup. I've already seen you 2, 3 times. I know what your curveball looks like when you snap it. How much adjustment will they be able to do? That's the beauty of baseball, seeing what the counterpunch will be for UNC when they have to face off, or if they don't face off, maybe they'll face off in the actual tournament. But as for right now, the 1 and 2 we project them to go and face off again at the end of it. It'll be very interesting to see the punches that they have. These Seminoles, they are very dangerous. I mean, they will win. If they're going to win the tournament, it'll be they've got a tournament tested roster. Like they've got a lot of older guys. And I think that experience has to weigh in for something. I mean, they can take over games with both the explosive bats and lockdown starters. But at the end of the day, it's Florida State. Like they don't win shit. So with me, I put very little stock in Florida State. And that could be just the logo, or that could be just this helmet that's staring me down, that's telling me they ain't shit. They ain't never gonna be shit. Somebody that I do fear is actually gonna be Boston College. I mean, that team is exciting to watch as well. Securing their best ACC record and program history. If they're gonna win, it's gonna be because they have proven that they can consistently win tight conference games against the heavyweights. You keep a team, an underdog, close and close and close. Very few times does the underdog lose. I mean, we see it in every kind of sport when you get them down and you're supposed to beat them, beat them. If teams don't do that with Boston College, they are scrappy and they come out victorious almost all the time. Now, you talked about Miami and Wake Forest. Both are traditional powerhouses, had strong campaigns this past season. If they're going to win, they both have offensive firepower to get hot on a neutral field, and they could run the table from the middle grounds, which I wouldn't be surprised to see Miami go up and get hot and do that. When it comes to teams like Virginia, Virginia Tech, they've got strong resumes. They play fundamentally sound baseball, and they can leverage the single bye against the rest. But I mean, I don't. It's weird because if you got to win game one, like you can win your series before you see the big dogs, you got to burn an ace. And teams like NC State, Notre Dame, Louisville, Stanford, Cal, Pitt, Clemson, Duke. Although I do like Duke, I don't like them to win this. These teams are in the tournament because if they're going to win, their pitching staffs have to overperform, and they just have to catch absolute fire from the batter's box over the course of the week. Do I see that happening? Not really. I think if I had to put it, maybe I think Duke would be the one that I would put any kind of stock in for that, but very little. Jacob, how do you kind of see this tournament playing out?
I mean, I'm biased. I'm gonna rock with UNC in most things here. I just when I look at it, I just think UNC's one of the most complete teams in college baseball. I've been super impressed with the way they've played all year. I mean, the bats have been such a big part of the success on top of the pitching. I think the pitching is really just unbelievable. Like Jason, I want to make sure I got the right guy here in his stats. But Jason DeCaro, pitching wise, has been sensational this year. 2.03 ERA, 10.2 win loss, right? Pitched in 14 games this year, only gave up 16 earned, right? Only had 32 walks, so a decent ratio. Like, I just think UNC is this very complete team. I think Georgia Tech has the best bats in all of college baseball. Like, if those bats get hot, I don't care if Paul Skeens is out there. Those things are getting nuked. Um, Georgia Tech has been sensational all year, but I just think the completeness of UNC can do it. But I am worried that UNC may falter with a team like FSU in the semifinals in a win or go home scenario. It's kind of like if it's a win or go home, I'm probably going to lean Georgia Tech because of the bats. But obviously, when we get to the NCAA tournament and you're in the regional, it's double elimination, right? It's best 2 out of 3 in the supers, double elim in Omaha. I really lean towards the depth of UNC. But in this tournament, I really see Georgia Tech's bats just being too much in a one game scenario for a lot of teams to overcome. If it's Georgia Tech UNC on Sunday, I'm tuned in. It's going to be phenomenal. Tuned in for sure. But I think I think I'm going to lean Georgia Tech with the Bats, as much praise as I give UNC. But I think in a one-game sense, the Bats will be just too much to overcome.
Yeah, and I should specify whenever I said that I think Duke is gonna be the team to come out. That's because I want absolute chaos. Like, I don't think any of the 9 through 16 teams are gonna be able to win this. But if there is a 9 through 16 team that I want Duke to just come in and raise havoc. They're the ones that are projected to face NC State, then Virginia, then Georgia Tech. So I just want chaos to happen. I don't actually think that. I know somebody's going to listen and be like, "Does this really just say the 16 seed is going to be the one that comes out of it?" No, I want absolute chaos.
I will say this, do not sleep on Boston College. They're getting hot at the right time. The bats are coming alive. The bullpen's doing its job, and the starters are starting to get going. And watch out, man. Like, Georgia Tech, I think, can get to the quarters, right? Pretty fine in the semis, I mean. But, man, you got to be careful if you run into that Boston College team because they're going to give you massive, massive fits over there in Chestnut Hill. So
Yeah,
let's jump over to. Do you have anything else on the ACC here?
no, I was gonna jump over to the SEC just because
That's
felt
where
like
I was going.
geographically that's pretty much where we go to next. This is also going to be a single elimination tournament over in Hoover, Alabama.
And testing out an ABS system in this tournament. So, very interesting to break that out in kind of like a very important feeling, I guess. Like, it's something like guys haven't tried at all. And now you're going to try and implement this system in the postseason? I think that's a little
Yeah,
crazy to do, honestly. It's kind of
I
like
don't love
doing
it.
a glass court for postseason basketball. Let's try it when it matters. Like that makes
Matters
sense. Yeah, but okay.
not not wrong. I mean, sounds like a great idea. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah. Anyways, this is going to be I think going to be a really fun tournament. I really think so. I think you like if you want to see chaos, I think this tournament has a chance to be very chaotic. Right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you like Mizzou's going to make this magical run. They're not going to. All right. I know where my Mizzou fandom lies, and it's not in baseball today. But do love the Como jerseys. Those things are sick. Love those puppies. I do think though you're looking at like you see Oklahoma LSU here in their 11 and 14 seed. Those are teams that could, in theory, make a little noise. Make some noise. Historically, that's kind of what they've done specifically, like Oklahoma, right? Like, it's unbelievable, like, what this tournament has kind of laid out to be, because your top 4 teams are Georgia, Texas, Texas A&M, and Alabama in the top 4 here. I believe the number 1 team, Georgia's ranked 4 overall. I think, it's funny how the D1 baseball rankings look sometimes because it's like, wait a second. It's all so weird because like Auburn's ranked number 6 in the country according to D1 baseball, but they're 6th in the SEC. They're a 6 seed. So it's funny how that all kind of works out here. I think a team like I genuinely think you have to keep an eye on because you have to keep an eye on them every year is like I'm shocked Arkansas is the 7th seed. But I think they're getting hot at the right time. I think the bats are starting to get alive for Arkansas. The pitching is what worries me. I think they have one guy who's pretty dominant. Don't want to mistake. And Hunter Dietz, 3.62 ERA, 92 Ks on the year. Sophomore pitcher has pitched over nearly 60 innings. But outside of that, I'm not confident in Arkansas's ability to like kind of get things going. But in a one-game setting, like we're talking about when it's tournaments, Arkansas can make some noise. And then they go up against Texas, who traditionally chokes, and especially in these tournaments. But this is one of the best Texas baseball teams in a decent memory for me. Like, statistics wise. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it's because I'm just now starting to get into like college baseball like more deeply. But I think this SEC tournament is way more open than the ACC is because like you can make a case for Florida, you can make a case for Auburn, right? We just said Auburn's the number 6 team in the country, right? I mean, Texas has according to ESPN, two of the best pitchers in baseball with Ruger Rojas and Dylan Volantes, and you just never know with the way these things go. Like Tegan Coons for Tennessee could get hot, and they steal a game against. Let me pull up again. They beat South Carolina, steal a game against Arkansas, right? You never know in the SEC here. Hunter, talk to me about what you're seeing here before we give our predictions.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so easy to talk probably top to bottom. I mean, Georgia's just looked dominant all year. Second best offense behind Georgia Tech, also averaging damn near 10 runs a game. I mean, they hit tanks and they don't slow down at all. Texas, a 2 seed, they look very good. But I think there's like Georgia's, I feel like they separated themselves compared to everyone else. If I had to say there's like an underdog, probably Oklahoma. I think LSU's beaten so bad that Oklahoma beats LSU, rolls into Auburn, and could roll into Texas A&M. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all. Mississippi State, we talked about JoJo Parker. Well, Jacob Parker's over there, and they've got some dogs over there, pun intended. I mean, they'll have to get through Old Miss, and I think that'll be one hell of a fight. And the winner of that gets to face Georgia. I mean, that's an exciting matchup. Kentucky Vanderbilt, honestly, Andy being a 12 seed is not something I thought we would see. They don't have the juice like they normally do. Everyone wants to go elsewhere in the world of NIL. I don't know
And
why Nashville isn't a bigger destination for baseball. Like I love Nashville, but
I also I also think Vanderbilt has shifted their focus
yeah.
away from baseball into football in both men and women's basketball. As you can see, those teams have been amazing the last 3 years. So I think that has a major part to do with Vanderbilt's decline in the baseball sense.
Yeah, and then the winner gets to face Florida, who I think will be pitching Liam Patterson, if I'm not mistaken, or
Mm-hmm.
Liam Peterson.
Peterson.
I'm not sure if they're gonna throw Peterson game one. Like it would make sense. You need him to win it. You burn him there, and then I mean you can't really hold on to him. Play Alabama after that, so it'll be exciting. Alabama played, or they got Justin LeBron there, but I don't. The way it's looking at, like it could be a big shakeup. It'll be exciting, but I mean, to go back to Georgia, they're regular season champs. They have an elite offense, boasting 7 of the top 25 batters by OPS. They're the only team to win all 5 of their SEC road series. So they are battle tested and ready to roll. Now, Texas, they are loaded with talent, including SEC Pitcher of the Year, Dylan, and then Freshman of the Year, Anthony Pack Jr. Their pitching staff is capable of shutting down any lineup on any given day. Now, with these are 1 game series. It is not a best out of 5. It's not a best out of, it's one. Your pitcher shuts down that lineup one time. Georgia has that hiccup and you can't hit, you're done. Call it a day.
Done.
Texas has the power to do that. Texas A&M, they feature an electric homegrown offense led by standout Gavin Grahavik. Grahavik. I don't know. I don't remember how to say his last name, but they have the second highest batting average in the conference and explosive run scoring capabilities. Alabama, I mentioned, they've got Justin LeBron. They closed the regular season on a tear, winning 8 of their last 9 games. They are riding a white hot momentum into Hoover. I mean, you're in Alabama, damn near home game for you guys. Now in the middle, you got Florida. It's an up and down roster. They're the only team. They're the only league team with a series win over Georgia. That can't be understated. Georgia's red hot. Florida's the only one that's been able to take them down. Auburn consistently ranked high in the national polls, and they have a balanced team. Like they deservedly so, and their lineup possesses a lot of dangerous pop. Arkansas, like you said, top tier talent and pitching. When clicking on all cylinders, and they have the pitching dominance to mercy rule top tier teams. I mean, it is if they get hot. they could win this thing, like you said. Mississippi State, solid roster with deep pool of transfers. Also getting, like I said, Jacob Parker mixing in there. Now their underlying numbers show that they have played incredibly close games year round. And if the ball just rolls the other way, we might see them not as an 8 seed, but potentially a 4 seed. Now the teams in the first round, you've got Ole Miss tested consistently by the toughest schedule in the SEC. That's something that we cannot go over. They are battle tested and thrive in underdog situations. Now, Tennessee is the defending champs and are always dangerous. As we know, we lost the head coach. That can shift a lot of things, but that postseason pedigree is still there. They know how to survive and eliminate baseball, or survive elimination baseball. Oklahoma's first year in the SEC. They are unpredictable X factor with opposing pitchers that haven't seen, I mean, no one's really seen much of them, especially in tournament play. So with that, that's always a benefit. Guys unfamiliar. Now Vandy also has championship pedigrees. Let's not forget they won this tournament 2023 and 25. Add that mixed with highly touted pitching depth. Pitching and defense will win you championship games. If your pitchers go 4 games and they spaz, you could win this damn tournament even as the 12th seed. Kentucky, they play aggressive. They play small ball. They have the defensive prowl to grind out low scoring wins. Do I see that happening in a tournament like that? You might sneak one win out. I can't see you sneaking out 4 or 5 to win it. LSU just looks beaten. I mean, they have raw talent for sure, but they're desperate, which could be dangerous. But also, I also think, and the first thing, if they jump on them, like if another team jumps on LSU early, I think that balloon's going to be deflated. South Carolina struggled mightily in the conference. Single eliminations about getting hot at the right time. They do have power bats to do so. Do I have faith in them? No, they went 7-23. As much as the glass half full mindset I want to think of, there's only so much I can do. LSU is kind of where I draw that line. So anything below that, South Carolina and Missouri, I just can't see you guys winning it. Now, Missouri is the last seed in the bracket, which is fantastic because there is zero pressure on you to do anything. You with that, you have absolutely nothing to lose. You play freely and swing for the fences. Like I just go out there and fuck up somebody's day. That's really all you've got. In a way, you're the most dangerous team because you have no expectations and nothing to lose. Do I think that means anything? No, not in this situation. I don't think that means jack shit. You're facing off Old Miss at 9:30 in the morning tomorrow. Good fucking luck. You better hope that Old Miss is still got crud in their eyes or they partied hard tonight.
In Hoover?
But
Yeah, right.
yeah, I
I
tried to be.
think
I mean, they're in Oxford. Like, you're in Mississippi.
no, Hoover's in Alabama.
Well, I'm talking about Old Miss. Old Miss is in
Yeah.
Oxford. So, like, if you're in Mississippi getting tore up, like, you could probably find a way to do it in Hoover, Alabama. But, Jacob, final thoughts on the SEC?
I think I'm gonna go a little bit off the beaten path here. I think Auburn's gonna win this tournament from the
Ooh,
6th seed. I was looking at the metrics, dude, and it's about pitching. I'm a big like in one game scenarios is pitching for me, right? Obviously, I lean toward the Georgia Tech bats, but that's a special scenario. Those are special bats over in Atlanta. The SEC is so wide open that I genuinely think the deeper your pitching staff is, I think the better your cases are going to be. And I'm looking here, Hunter, they got 3 dudes with 70 plus Ks on the year from their starters 74, 80, 93, and 96. And their ERAs respectively 3.54, 3.38, 2.95, 2.74. Can the bats come alive for Auburn? In these scenarios, we're gonna see. It's gonna be a tough test with either LSU or Oklahoma. And then you get the luxury of playing A&M. Then you may get the luxury of playing Texas. But I think if there's
that's all.
or Arkansas, yeah, or a red hot Tennessee team, and then that's when Tegan Coons can probably go again. So like, I think it's one of those things where I think you just got to be smart. I think they have the like really great depth. I think Georgia is dangerous. They have proven it all year. But I really love the way Auburn has played. I respect the pitching. And I think with that in mind, to be a little bit different outside of those top four, I think Auburn has probably the best line to get there because Texas may have to, like, is going to put their day two guy out against Auburn, and Auburn may have, day one guy on fresh because they have the arms to sacrifice in a 2 day, 3 day depth piece rotation. So I think in that scenario, I like Auburn to maybe pull off some upsets and go and win this tournament.
Yeah, if I'm gonna go off the beat, I'm probably gonna roll with Arkansas. Just because I like the matchup between them and either Tennessee or South Carolina, and then they roll into Texas, and Texas has been sitting, I mean, for a few days now. So with that, there is a factor of, when's the last time Texas played a game? It's been a handful of days. These guys are used to playing, every other day, every 2 or 3 days. So if you get them off their rhythm, a team like Arkansas, I mean, like I said, when clicking all cylinders, I mean, they have the pitching to be dominant and the bats to dominate and just mercy roll anybody. I think they are one of the more dangerous middle of the pack teams. So with that, I would pick Arkansas. Now, if I wanted to be chalky and if I had to put money on it, I'm gonna go with Georgia just because I love the bats of Georgia. The same reason why I'm picking Georgia Tech. I just love the bats. Like they've gone, what, 50 games, averaging 10 runs a game. Like that is insane to me. Like when you can out hit, and in baseball, I mean, and especially college baseball, you get crazy scores. Can you win the high numbered scores? I know Georgia can. And when it comes down to we need one or two insurance runs, that's a lineup I'm confident will produce. I think Georgia wins it, but if I had to take non-chalk, I like Arkansas's chances to run the table.
Continuing to move geographically, we're going to go to the Big Ten because they play in Omaha, ironically, at Schwab Field, which doesn't feel right. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be playing baseball in Omaha before the College World Series, but
Where would you
that's where
put
the
it?
Big Ten. That's where the Big Ten is. So the Big Ten, obviously, you got UCLA, best team in college baseball, led by um,
Rock Chislovsky.
Route Chislowski, hitting 330, 20 plus home runs, number one overall prospect. Everyone's licking their chops to get him from, an MLB standpoint. Really, really polished hitter. But UCLA's bats have done a phenomenal job being what they've been. But also, like, UCLA has one of the best pitchers in the game with Logan Redeman, 287 ERA, 84 Ks, biggest riser in terms of prospect pool. I think 2, 3, and 4, I think specifically 2 and 3, I think are going to surprise some people. The Nebraska Cornhuskers are your 2 seed, as well as the 3 seed of the Oregon Ducks, who have been getting red hot as of late, stealing a game against UCLA the other day in a series. And then you have USC, led by one of the best pitchers in college baseball, Mason Edwards, with a 1.79 ERA and over 110 strikeouts. I do think this is probably the most top-heavy bracket we're going to see because it is the Big Ten. And I genuinely, like, Nebraska has been really invested in baseball the last couple of years. Oregon has been phenomenal, as always, and then UCLA and USC have been it's California ball out there. I think when you look at this, I think there's probably 2 teams that you probably can't feel comfortable with. And this is actually a double elimination tournament. So, like, these 1 seeds don't play until Friday, Hunter. Like, everyone else, 5 through 12, is playing starting, if I'm reading this correct, they start tomorrow. And then the 1 through 4 seeds play on Friday. So, you got plenty of time for some teams to get hot, plenty of time to see plenty of baseballs. And, like, if you're the 1 through 4, that's a lot of time off against teams. Yeah, for teams coming in like this. So, I think the team, like, to me, that I think you may have to keep your biggest eye on, and I hate to kind of admit it, it's probably the Buckeyes in Michigan. Ohio State and Michigan, I think, are probably 2 teams that if you want to see some upsets, like, they're going up against Nebraska and they're going up against Oregon, who are sitting on multiple days of rest and these guys can get hot and like get out of this without going down to the losers bracket, I think you're looking at some damage right there, potentially in those teams there. But I do think, again, Hunter, you can give us some more in depth breakdown of maybe some like upper echelon of this conference. It's the most top heavy. This and the Big 12 are more the more top heavy leagues, but this is
Hmm.
probably the most top heavy in terms of all the Power Four.
I think with this, I'm gonna start bottom to top just because I feel like it's more fun. With that, the 12 seed, Michigan State Spartans. Now, y- it's kind of the same feeling that I told you about Missouri, South Carolina, LSU. I mean, you play without pressure. They have a weak RPI, which is a huge thing that they look at for getting in there. And their offense is inconsistent as all get out. Do I have any faith in Michigan State to move on? I do not. I think that would be one of the bigger upsets if they did, as I believe they would be playing Purdue. Yeah, Purdue being the five. At 11 is Washington Huskies. Now they have an opportunistic offense, but they are hindered by defensive lapses. And the thing that's going to win you championships is pitching and defense. And if you lack defense, you will not win. Rutgers is coming in at 10. They've got a high powered offense, but are plagued by erratic pitching. Like I said, pitching and defense wins you championships. You know, if your pitching sucks, you better score a fuck ton of runs. Otherwise, you're just going to get blown out every game. Now, Illinois is kind of the opposite. They rely on solid pitching and struggle with low team batting average. Not a lot of hits coming from them. Good pitching. Iowa has an aggressive offense, but inconsistent late season performance. With that, you're not peaking, but you are collapsing at the wrong time or digressing. To talk about the first team that you brought up, the Michigan Wolverines. Now they are full of disciplined hitters inconsistent when it comes to pitching. Now, this coach pops up on my feed all the time, and he is always talking about hitting drills. So I'm not surprised at all by the defense, by the discipline hitting. Never seen a pitching drill from him. So also kind of makes sense on the inconsistent pitching. When it comes to Ohio State, they are a balanced team, but in order for them to make it in the tournament, they've got to go on a deep run. Like for them, they've got to push it. They do have a low RPI, and with this brings me to the number five seed Purdue Boilermakers, and they have a strong starting rotation, and they are very strong when it comes to situational hitting. However, the weakness is the lack of power. They do not hit homers, especially compared to the top four seeds. And with this, that's not a bad thing to have, but man, when you need it and you pop out that homer, it's just something different about it. Me, I personally like the gap to gap approach. Keep runners on, keep constant pressure, make your pitchers have to go in those stressful innings. And sometimes a homer just clears the bases and resets everything. So I don't necessarily think that is a bad weakness to have, but with the solid starting rotation and the situational hitting, Purdue could do some damage. USC Trojans, now high slugging percentage and the power hitting, can blow open games. However, they tend to struggle away from home, posting a negative road record in conference play. Obviously, with this being in Omaha, they will not be in sunny California. And coming off, what, 6 days of rest because they didn't play Sunday, they didn't play today, and then we don't see them for another 4 days. How are they going to do 6 days away from playing and being so far from home? We'll see if that affects them come opening night for them and the tournament. Now, Oregon's a three seed. They come in strong team defense with a versatile lineup that can just manufacture runs effectively. However, the bullpen depth, which can be a test if starters get into trouble early, is going to be a big issue with them. The bullpen does not look good. And dude, if somebody gets them early in a double elimination game, if your bullpen is fried, you are cooked. Nebraska is a lethal combination of veteran hitters and an elite pitching rotation capable of shutting down any offense out there. Now, they can be occasionally prone to inconsistent offense, especially when facing mid-tier pitching staffs on the road. I mean, lucky for them, they're going to be in Omaha the whole time, so they shouldn't feel that road presence and that feeling of being on the road. So I think they'll be all right. But I do like the elite pitching staff add in with savvy veteran hitters, get in those timely hits. Like we said, just smart baseball. Nebraska could make a big run, and with them going 41-14, they are absolutely no slouch at all. And that ends us with number one UCLA. We mentioned Rock Choslowski, the shortstop for them. Reminds me of a Trevor Story and the way he sets up and hits, plays shortstop, big arm, nice range. I don't feel like that's a bad comp to have. Now, historically dominant pitching mixed in with an explosive offense and set an all-time Big Ten record for conference wins, going 28-2, 48-6 overall. They virtually have no weakness, and I really mean that. I mean, becoming complacent as the number one, an unanimous number one, and the tournament favorite sometimes has its own challenges to that. The expectation, the pressure, if you don't win it, with that is really the only weakness or pressure I can see this. But this UCLA team they've been there last year, they're here today. Pressure is a privilege, and I think that's how they feel. They don't feel the pressure. They know they've earned the right to have pressure. Try not to be chalk. Purdue would be the one that I see making a deep run. I just like the way they are built, the strong rotation, the strong situational hitting. To me, that breeds success. Starting off, they're going to have to face Michigan State. I see them dominating that game. Then they'll go into the winner of Iowa, Illinois. I don't really see that being an issue for them. Their first hiccup will be against USC, which we said USC does struggle away from home. So with a team like Purdue getting hot, seeing USC who hasn't played in a week, I think that could be a recipe for them facing UCLA, seeing one of their guys. Maybe you lose. That's the benefit of a double elimination. You get hot, you slip up once, you're still hot. But if I had to put money on it, UCLA.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think UCLA is just too good of a team. They're built so strong top to bottom, and it's more than just Cholowski. So I think Nebraska and Oregon could give them a run for their money. USC, I just don't see it because I think UCLA is just too strong for them to get to the championship, and I just think it's UCLA's tournament to lose completely. Last Power 4 conference here. This is the one I'm the most familiar with, and that is the Big 12 out there in Surprise, Arizona, the furthest west team there is. Now, very interesting setup here is that the 1 through 6 seeds technically get double byes, with two of them having their matchups already predetermined. 9 and 12, which is BYU the 9 seed, Tech the 12 seed, will play. The winner of that game will play Baylor the next day. Utah and K-State, the 10 and 11, they play, and they will play the number 7 seed TCU the next day. This conference somehow won by, the Kansas Jayhawks for their first conference title since 1949. Incredible job by the Jayhawks. Turning that team around the last 2 years has been a really fun story and amazing turnaround by their head coach, who's probably maybe going to get sought after by some big dogs later in the cycle. West Virginia is your 2 seed, Arizona State your 3 seed, UCF and Oklahoma State and Cincinnati round out 3 through 6. I think this one has surprisingly a lot of depth in this conference. I think when you look at it from this standpoint of, like, we talked about the SEC being super wide open. I think the Big 12 is actually more wide open than I think people think. I think you hear Kansas and you're immediately like, who? How? The basketball school? Right? And then you hear West Virginia and you're like, how is West Virginia not demolishing them? Right? But then there's Arizona State. Right? Oklahoma State has been, if you want to talk about the last 15 games of the college baseball season, there's nobody better than Oklahoma State right now, right? And Cincinnati is another sleeping giant that's kind of starting to get the wheels going at the right time in this conference. Not to mention, you want to talk about and listen, I've watched them both teams all year. TCU is a really frisky team, and so is Baylor. Tice Armstrong has hit 20 plus home runs. I think he now has the Baylor record for all time home runs. I think he's at 25 now. This lineup has its moments of like it hits really well, right? Travis Sanders, Tice Armstrong, Brandy Janusek. Like these are guys that need to get the lineup going for Baylor. Defensively, they're really solid, but the pitching obviously is a little bit bigger of a weak point. But they have one of the best closers in baseball with Caleb Bunch. He's only got like a handful of blown saves, one of them being TCU, which would have allowed the Bears to win the series and would have been a really big RPI get for them to get probably some better footing into the NCAAs. I think in order for them to get some real footing, they're going to have to unfortunately like upset Kansas to like really get some juice going. But this is, I think, a sneaky deep league in terms of like, I just mentioned Tice Armstrong hit 25 home runs. What if Tice is the second player ever in college baseball to have 3 grand slams this season in the same game? If you remember that from way back in February. They're
Opening
very
night.
frisky. TCU and them are 2 very frisky teams. And if you're Kansas and West Virginia, you're kind of like, man, I really don't want to play these guys. Like, they get an extra game, right, to kind of see some baseballs and like get going, and now they get to come play us on 2 days rest. You know, like it's a little bit uncomfortable if you're those top teams, but that's why you're at the top though. So, but Oklahoma State has been one of the best teams in baseball the last 15, 20 games, the last, start of May. Like they've been a phenomenal team. And UCF has been one of the better teams in the Big 12 all season. And obviously, we know what a traditional powerhouse that Arizona State is. So, I mean, I have a pretty good idea of what this conference is. Obviously, these bottom 4 teams here, they're there for a reason. So, Hunter, talk to me about the Big 12 here before we give our picks.
I see it in a similar way that you do. I like the way that Baylor does in a couple of games that got slipped away with them. This team is seeded differently. TCU, led by Sawyer Stroh-Snyder, just one of the more athletic kids in all of college baseball.
So
One of the most
smooth.
athletic
So
guys in
smooth.
his high school class. I got to watch Utah a little bit. They had, I think it's Dimitri Diamond is his last name. I mean, he went out and just shoved multiple innings. That's a guy that was like sneaky pitcher right there. But obviously Utah is in the 10 seed for a reason. But yeah, let's roll into the fact that this is now a single elimination tournament, runs through May 19th through the 23rd, like almost everyone else. And the Kansas Jayhawks, unmatched momentum. Kansas claimed its first outright regular season title in program history. 22-8 in Big 12 play, almost 40 wins on the season. They have a proven offense capable of putting up massive numbers to dictate the pace of the game. Now, a weakness is pressure. As a top overall seed and a team that has earned a double bye, they can be vulnerable by any team that catches fire early on and surviving earlier, and surviving those earlier elimination games. We said the longer you wait, the more cold you are, especially when these guys are in a rhythm. We play Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. We play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When you're used to that rhythm, when you get chopped off of that, baseball players are weird, man. Like they need they need their routine more than pretty much any other league out there. So if you
You're
throw
a
them
little
off their
antsy.
routine, yeah, if you throw them off the routine, I think that's enough to kind of mess with these higher ended seeds, which, like we said, would benefit a team like Baylor who needs the RPI higher up. Number 2 seed is West Virginia Mountaineers. Now the pitching depth and the experience is going to be a strength of theirs, where they finished 37-13 and they boost a formidable pitching rotation and bullpen that can shut down an elite lineup. Their problem is slow starts. They do not jump off on there and have occasionally struggled on Fridays, sometimes needing a rally later on in a series to secure weekend wins. with that, you can't start slow and that you get one game. If you are used to not performing on Fridays, you will not perform your game one. You will get caught. So with that, that is a huge concern for what I have for them and facing a team like TCU. TCU can go up and bite you in the ass early on, and now you're in oh shit mode in the third inning here and what is going to be Thursday. Oh, they play at night, 7:30.
I think
Number
I think
three,
I think when you look at this TCU team, I mean, we've talked about Sawyer. I'm blanking on the last name. I'm probably gonna butcher it.
Stroh
Snyder,
Snyder.
like 26th ranked prospect in according to ESPN in the upcoming. I think TCU is one of those teams of like I agree. Like West Virginia has had some day one slip ups. Like I can mention the Baylor game. They had Baylor on the ropes. Baylor made a little comeback, and I think they walked it off against West Virginia in a game that I don't think West Virginia had any business like losing. All things respectful, but Baylor found a way to win on Friday night. Like those are the moments of like, okay, TCU may go with a day two guy, but now the bats are warm. You got
Hmm.
to now try and go win. And it's again, we talked about this day one. And if I think I really loved this guy said it the best. His name it's swag. It's Chips Swag and Shades TikTok. He's doing some college baseball stuff, and he says the teams that get deep into postseason play are teams that do great on Fridays. And West Virginia is not a team that does great on Fridays. But
Yeah, and I think you're right. With TCU, I mean, they have the pitching pedigree, and it's despite missing top players due to injury, their pitching staff is still anchored by the elite arm, and it keeps them in every game. The weakness for them is offensive inconsistency. They've had trouble driving in runs consistently and resulting in just agonizing close losses, like you mentioned. But if they can start hot and just have the offense be mildly consistent, that is a team that will go and beat a team like West Virginia, who starts off slow. So it'll be interesting. Following up with the number three Arizona State Sun Devils. I mean, they have an elite offense and a little local boost since they are in Sunrise. Arizona 37, no, 36 and 18. They are one of the most dangerous free scoring teams in the conference and will practically be playing a home game in the entire tournament and as they are in Arizona. I mean, that is just something that only a few teams can say they have, Nebraska being one of them, and what's the other one in Charlotte, so maybe North Carolina. Not really any other teams in the ACC can do
UNC
that.
will get a boost if they go far. They'll get a
Yeah,
boost come the weekend. Come the
yeah.
weekend, the
With it being
UNC
in
State.
Charlotte, maybe NC State, with them being right there in that Raleigh triangle, maybe a little bit of red, but nothing crazy. UCF is the one that I'm most familiar with. One of the kids that I helped coach and played with, Connor, he is a freshman starter or freshman pitcher on this team. We can nickname him Monkey, so I'm excited to see if he'll play at all in this tournament. He's a left-handed pitcher. What's his real name? Wyatt. Wyatt Dion. Shout out him. Really happy for you, buddy. But they play really balanced, which is awesome to see. And that's going to be what you want coming into this. You don't want to be too top heavy one way or the other. UCF finished 31 and 20. They showed during conference play that they can win games in multiple ways. If you want a slugfest, we got it. If you want a pitcher's duel, we got it. So with that being so balanced is going to be kind of what you need to win a tournament like this, especially if your FPI is lacking being that balanced team. Go out and win it. Oklahoma State, who has been perennial powerhouse recently, producing top tier talent. Now, their strength is going to be that tournament DNA. They have been here before, they know what to do, and historically, the Cowboys have excelled in the postseason, and their roster is built for championship style play. They finished the season going 36 and 19. Their weakness has been injuries. Now, the Cowboys, they have been dealing with persistent injury issues with the weekend starting pitching, putting extra strain on the bullpen. If you see those starters start to get more quality starts and extending it, having that bullpen kind of catch their breath is going to be dangerous, especially as they play. I think it's UCF first. I mean, with the late season slumps, uh, that'll be a really good game to watch. 6 is going to be the Cincinnati Bearcats. Strength is their resilience. I mean, they have repeatedly bounced back from poor stretches to win tough conference series. But like we said, if you don't perform well on Friday, you will not perform in this. And their weakness are defensive lapses. The Bearcats will occasionally give opponents extra outs, which prove deadly in single elimination tournaments. And that's why I don't feel super great about them. That's why you may look at this tournament and be like, well, there's a 6 seed. Why aren't you guys, in love with them? That's because we see 7 and 8 be able to field the damn ball and pitch. That's why we like TCU and Baylor way more than a team that's ranked higher than them in Cincinnati. A team like Oklahoma State, who is injured, this is wide open, to be honest. As we get into the later stages when it comes to B1, ballpark advantages and returning experience is going to play a factor. Playing in Arizona will be a benefit to that offense as it's built for high elevation and aggressive hitting. I mean, when it comes with elevation, obviously the batters do well. The pitching ERA also gets inflated. Pitching has been a major liability for them as they have struggled to limit opponents' scoring at critical moments. Pitching and defense, you'll hear us repeat it over and over again. That is what wins games. With BYU, your pitching is not there. You are not going to win. Utah, the 10 seed, now speed and situational hitting. They can manufacture runs effectively using the small ball. I mean, small ball is sexy, man. If you can perform it, you can small ball the shit out of teams, and that will just break a team, especially a team like who we said does not perform well defensively. I just highlighted that. A team like Cincinnati, who does not do well defensively, small ball will kill them. Now, Utah also has a lack of shutdown arms. They lack true shutdown pitchers who can quiet opposing rallies, especially in pressure situations. You can small ball as much as you want, but if the other team is also putting up runs, you can only small ball so many runs. And the final two are going to be Kansas State being the 11th seed. They do have upset potential. They are 28 and 26, still plus 500, and are a dangerous lower seed that has proven that they can take games off of the best team in the league. Now, their weakness on road and neutral field struggles. Obviously, with this being in Arizona, not Manhattan, Kansas, they're going to struggle, and they have struggled to put together complete weekends away from their home stadium. Don't love them early on. Texas Tech has a deep lineup and historically a talented offensive team that can erupt for double-digit runs. But the late season free fall, they entered the postseason on a severe losing streak against conference opponents, and clearly everyone they're gonna fucking play is a conference opponent. Texas Tech not looking great, especially when they go up against a team like BYU early on who kind of take advantage of the scenario that they're in, very similar to their home ballpark and their aggressive hitting. I would not be surprised to see BYU pile it on Texas Tech. And I would not be surprised to see Utah move on and beat Kansas State with the small ball, getting a quality start with Kansas State not being fantastic as struggling on the road. I could see Utah and BYU pulling away and moving on. Jacob, final thoughts on the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, I think this is, again, we talked about the depth. If there's going to be a team outside of the double buys to make any noise, it's going to probably be TCU. I think they're kind of been a sleeping giant that hasn't fully realized what their potential, I think, is. As much as I like Baylor, obviously want us to do the best that we can, I think we know what the limitations are with this team in terms of the hitting outside of Tice and the pitching. And there's been so many opportunities for Baylor this year to like really capitalize on some things. I think they know it, but it's also a fresh slate. If you want to go rewrite your story, this is the time to do it. For me, I really like the way Arizona State plays. I really think that they have such a favorable stretch of like, if you beat, like you're going to take down Cincinnati, TCU upsets West Virginia, TCU's maybe going on their third guy. You can bring in a better arm. You now have like, you get some rhythm going with you. I think Arizona State's in a really, really great position to win this. Obviously, it's in their home state, near their campus. I think it'll be, again, a pseudo home venue for them. But, I mean, another team that I really like that could maybe win it would be the Cowboys. would be Oklahoma State. I love the way they've played the last several weeks. Like they're ranked inside of D1 baseball's top 25 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I am mistaken. Spoke a little too soon. They were, I believe, ranked last week or something. Cincinnati's right there at 25, but I just think, my bad, Oklahoma State's 19. I just think Oklahoma State's playing some of their best baseball right now, and I think that matters a lot. And I just don't trust UCF's pitching, but UCF has really good bats. They got 5 dudes batting above 300. My pick's Arizona State to come out of the Big 12.
Yeah, I as much as I don't want to pick chalk, it's hard not to when it's rock chalk. Kansas just it's the momentum that they're going in here, the title play. I'd like the offense being able to dictate the pace of the game. I think if Kansas is able to kind of put their touch on the game, they're going to win it as long as they don't let the pressure from it get to them. Now, granted, they have earned the double bye. They may be vulnerable to any team that catches fire. So, if a BYU small balls Baylor to death, small balls Texas Tech to death, they could come into Kansas feeling some type of way. And Kansas, who's sitting on what they played Thursday. So, last game was, I believe it's Saturday for everyone. So, you're sitting on 4 or 5 days of rest. That's not a normal thing for them to come out and do. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kansas come out slow. West Virginia, we said, is more than likely going to get caught by TCU. You just need TCU to jump on them early and don't let them down. Like you get them down, don't let them up. I do agree with you. I like the Arizona State pick, and I do like the Oklahoma State pick. I like those two a lot to come out of there. I think Oklahoma State is on the up and UCF is treading downwards. I think that's a great call. That I'm with you that Oklahoma State will move on. Interested to see how they're going to do against either Kansas or Baylor. Because Baylor could very easily beat Kansas as well.
I think the thing is with Baylor and TCU, I think when you look at the bracket outside of the SEC, they're probably the two most dangerous 7-8 seeds in this, I think, in any tournament. Because, like, Arkansas and Mississippi State are dangerous, yeah, but, like, they're not the same level as, like, TCU and Baylor, who are, like, TCU and Baylor are fighting for their, like, final chances to make an RPI push. Any win against, like, a West Virginia or Kansas is going to help cement your case as maybe getting that final sneaky at-large bid if there are, say, some bid stealers in some conferences, right? You never know what happens in those West Coast conferences, the WCC, the WAC, Mountain West. Like, you got to keep an eye on it because you never know if if you have a bubble team that needs to go win their tournament, right? Like of a Miami of Ohio for basketball, for instance, keep an eye out for this TCU Baylor teams to get a high quality win in the quarterfinals to try and push their tickets into the NCAA and get into the big dance.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me to see Baylor jump on Kansas early. The struggle with Baylor is the pitching depth. If they can just maintain that high-powered offense of Kansas, they'll move on and get that big win. I think Baylor's got the power at the plate in order to be explosive and jump on Kansas early because we fear Kansas's offense. I don't necessarily fear their pitching.
Yeah, I think with Baylor, I think even the coaching staff will say it. I don't have any insight. I don't work with baseball. I've been to plenty of baseball games. I need to just get that out there to cover me. Uh, but it's the middle. It's after the starter gets out. It's the next two guys have been like I can count. You can count and look in box scores, Hunter, of like the last 20 Baylor games. There's multitudes of them that they've had a lead going into like the seventh. They pull the starter, and next thing you know, here we are. I also,
Give up just too many runs,
too
especially
many
late. And the
runs.
top tier teams, you can't give them the late life.
Can't do that. There's also some bad midweek losses, but every team this year's had some really bad like Texas lost to freaking Texas, Tarleton State, right? Arkansas lost to Missouri State. Like it's just like it's college baseball on a one game basis. Like crazy things are bound to happen. So you can't hold Baylor to like that standard, but it's TCU had the same problem. All right, they get to middle relief, give up some runs, and and that's probably why Baylor and TCU are looking at themselves going, "Man, we could have been a 4 seed if we just got this extra 2-3 wins in this section." So, but those two teams I think are the most two dangerous 7-8 seeds in the Power 4 slate. Other teams in tournaments I'm keeping my eye on, obviously Hunter's boots on the ground, American Conference. He'll give you some live updates as he can from there. He's covering the ACC and the Big Ten. I got the SEC and the Big 12. So we'll give you some updates at the end of each day. Or of course, if something crazy happens, we'll jump into the fold and give you some breaking news there. Keeping an eye on the Sun Belt. I think there's a chance. Obviously, we know Southern Miss and Coastal are powerhouses, but South Alabama has had some like top 25 votes throughout the entire year. They're a team that you got to be careful with. The Raging Cajuns of Louisiana is another team you got to keep a massive eye on. They're a big at-large component as well, so I think as long as they do what they need to do in this tournament, they're going to be just fine. And obviously, keep your eye on Oregon State and UC Santa Barbara. UC Santa Barbara's got a kid who's throwing sub-1 ERA right now.
Yeah, Floro.
Yeah, Flora. Jackson Flora. 88 case, .78 ERA, 70 innings pitched. Like, just keep an eye on those guys. Keep an eye on those teams out there out west. You never know what's going to happen out there. So yeah, Hunter, the Hammered Nine.
Hammered questions, 9 questions coming at you. You stutter, you drink, you mess up, you drink. You answer something I don't agree with, you drink. First one. Best ballpark food in Major League Baseball.
Is that just in like my go-to, or are we talking what I've seen or what I've had? What are
Give
we
me
going
both.
with?
Give me both.
Classic. I'm a
Yeah,
big like bratwurst guy, smoked sausage. Not
I
a big
agree.
hot dog
It's a
guy
good
because
one.
I want the grill. I want the cooked. Sometimes a hot dog sketch me out if they've been in like water. Sometimes I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, I don't
you
want
know,
boiled dog. I want peppers and onions. I'm with you on
peppers,
that.
onion.
I like both. I go back and
Yeah,
forth. Like when I went to Dunedin, I know they make a good bratwurst, peppers, onions.
yeah,
That's safe. But if I'm going to the Trop, just give me a hot dog. It's so hard to mess that up, and I know you guys don't use water.
yep. Cardinals hot dog was good the other day that I had. Best
Yeah.
ballpark food, underrated. Evan, our buddy Evan, the Florida Gator legend, told he got this when he came and visited me. I got it the next time I was at a Rangers game. The walking taco might be the best bang for your buck in terms of the amount of food to the amount that you pay for. I also think the Rangers do a one barbecue meat plate special up in the Budweiser Terrace. The food's not anything right like super home about, but you
Mm-hmm.
get one barbecue meat and two sides for $16 at a
It's not
ballpark.
bad.
That's pretty
That's not bad
good.
at all.
But the walking taco, you get Doritos. Got to go
Mm-hmm.
Doritos. You could go Frito, but I like the Dorito.
Doritos is the way to do
The
that.
chip holds better. You get chili con carne, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get queso, and then I shouldn't have done jalapenos because the bag's already so freaking hot that it's like the jalapenos just get in the way. So just do those three, and it's a full thing of food, and it's $12. It's pretty good. And the line's typically not very long. They go fast. I like the walking taco at the Rangers a bunch. Worst item? Did you ask me about my worst item or just best item?
I just did best, but I would like to hear your worst item. That doesn't count as a
Fenway Frank
question.
is the most overrated piece of garbage on
Wrong,
earth.
wrong drink. Get out of
Overrated.
here.
It's such a mid.
It's a hot dog.
No,
But
you get the smoked sausage with peppers and onions at Fenway. Fenway Frank's mid.
no,
For the
you get
price that you
Fenway
pay for a
Frank.
Fenway Frank, no shot.
That you get a Fenway Frank. Both sides of the bun are buttered and then grilled like a grilled cheese. And you get your hot dog, ketchup, and eat it like a man.
Not for the price.
Or you just go ahead and you get you a lobster roll. with butter, hot, steamy, and just dog that thing. $40, call it a day.
Best classic thing: ice cream in a baseball hat, baseball helmet. Always hits. Always
Yeah, I
hits.
feel like you gotta have like I've got a rolling collection of them over in the
I
corner.
used to
Like
have
you
one
have
as a
to have
kid.
one.
I used to have one as a kid because Ted Drew's, I would always do vanilla ice cream and hot
Yeah,
fudge in the baseball helmet. But I think I only got Cardinals and I got Cardinals, Baylor, and the Rangers right now.
that's fair.
We did a mini helmet giveaway for Baylor the other day, and that was pretty nice.
That's sick. One player you'd want up in the ninth inning with the game on the line.
What do you mean by one up? Like pimp on them?
You would want up, like to
One
hit.
up. Want to hit
Yeah.
in a one-run game in the top of the ninth,
Yeah.
or
Game on
oh,
the line,
but game on the line.
ninth inning. Who do you want up for you? This could be alive or dead. This could be current. This could be retired. This could be, well, you chose a pitcher, so it wouldn't be your player you forgot about.
I'd probably go with Freddie Freeman. Honestly, I
Hmm.
would want Freddie Freeman
Okay.
at the dish. Or numbers wise, Yadi Molina was really good in clutch at bats in the postseason. Like you look at the numbers, he was actually really good for the Cardinals. So, but it depends. Like if I'm needing power, I'd probably go Freeman. But if it's like I got a runner on second, I just need to put the ball in play, I might go Yadi.
Situational.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is the most overrated baseball player right now?
Oh, overrated baseball player. I just never have been like the biggest fan of like Manny Machado. I just like never thought he was like all that. But he does good for me for fantasy baseball. It's him or Tatis are the two guys who I'm like I don't get the hype. I genuinely don't.
Yeah, since Tatis got hit
Mainly
with
the Tatis.
steroids, he's been mid, and this year he's been horrible.
I just don't get the Tatis hype. I think I just don't get it. I like was he is he electric? Yeah, but electric doesn't mean good. Just means you have moments. So,
I thought you were gonna go PCA there.
no, I think PCA I need more time. I need more time. He's still so young. I've seen
All
like
right.
6 seasons of Tatis.
Yeah, that's true. Well, he was suspended for like a good chunk of one with the
Yeah,
PEDs.
still
Beer or mixed drink during a game?
beer, Bud Selects baby.
All right. Most iconic postseason moment.
David Freeze game 6.
Yeah, should have done that was coming.
Yeah, come on. The most iconic moment in baseball in postseason.
One of them.
We'll see it tomorrow night. Not well.
Joe Buck has used that for a lot.
He has the triple, and then he hits the home run in the extras.
That's two moments, not the most iconic moment.
I think we got to go most iconic moment. I think it's probably the home run. I think it's the triple because who's out there in right field?
Cruz,
Cruz overplays
Nelson
the ball,
Cruz. Yeah.
and yeah, I'd probably go the freeze triple, and then the freeze home run.
So the air, because the right fielder misplayed the ball.
It's more iconic because of just the way it plays out.
No, I.
Like you see it in
Sh
your head.
yeah. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. The betting thing is dumb to give him a lifelong ban. And now we put him in postmortem. I thought was insulting.
That's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
You
is
put him
one?
you put him in because you feel bad that he died. Like I find that
The
so
man
degrading.
begged you for it. It's so stupid.
It's so dumb from the writers how posh they want to be.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for my Hall of Fame votes. That way I can actually use it for justice. What is one prospect in this upcoming draft you are all in on?
Obviously Rock. Yeah, I probably go Chalowski. Is a guy I'm very all in on. Like he's so crisp.
That's fair. I would say him and Grady are probably one and two that stand out the most from the rest of the pack. Maybe if you wanted to go pitching, you do Jackson Flora. I like Gio Lopez, the lefty from like Miami area, only because like we've known about him for so long. But I'm with you. I think it's either Rock or Grady Emerson. Who do you have winning the entire college baseball World Series?
This probably will change because I can get my buddy Micah on and we can do a full, NCAA breakdown. But at this moment in time, Tar Heels.
Okay.
But I got to see how the regionals and everything shake out before I put it pen to
All right.
paper.
Final question. If you could shoot liquid out of your fingers, what are the 5 liquids you would pick?
I think the sum will go easy. We go water, quick,
Mm-hmm.
hydrate, beer, Gator.
Wait, what kind of beer? What color Gatorade?
Ooh, was really hoping to just be like a tap thing and just be whatever like comes to my mind. Beer will probably go Michelob Ultra. That's the most consistent. I'll go blue Gatorade.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'll change this one to like rotten milk. So if people piss me off, I can just be like pew, 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 with the middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is Gatorade, and then chocolate milk. Nice sweet treat at the end.
So double milk.
Rotten milk to mess with people. Sweet treat.
Sweet
Blue
treat.
Gatorade.
Okay.
Michelob Ultra. Water.
Yeah, that's all 9 of them.
Well, he has been
There's
your mom's
rotten
favorite
milk
little
and chocolate milk.
double milk. One for war, one for myself. He has
Final
been.
thoughts.
Final thoughts? Pumped for some postseason baseball. I also wish college baseball wasn't so long. Just because I'm kind of like, I want college baseball like now. I want NCAA tournaments now. But outside of that, it's kind of where my thought process is. Pumped for it. Can't wait to see where it goes. I need to grind MLB The Show because I've been gone for a week, so I need to like do my job and get that over with. And yeah, Hunter.
Yeah, this is like my first year, like truly following college baseball. So I'm excited for the tournaments. I'm so happy that they start at like 9 a.m. So when I get into work, I grab my coffee, my breakfast sandwich, and I sit down. I have baseball on all damn day. Like I'm so excited for this. It's gonna get me through my work week. Things are gonna fly. I'm gonna bring one of my notepads just specifically for this, just so I can take notes, write down who I like, people who stand out to me, and then probably do a little more deep dive since I do have ESPN Plus. I can go back in the archives and see kind of former games, see what I like, tendencies, things like that. And then once the tournament starts, I mean, we are all go. So excited to get those scouting reports out and to start watching. Very happy to be going to the AAC tourney. This will be my first kind of big tournament that I'll be going to college wise. Seen a lot of high school kids this year, so that's cool. So recruiting wise, it's probably the most that I've ever done, or not necessarily recruiting, but scouting wise, it's the most that I've done. So I'm excited to post that and kind of see what everyone thinks about it, and then get back to MLB The Show. I mean, I'm pretty up to date. No, I think I finished everything. Still working on getting 99 Miggy, but I did just get the 94 Robinson and the 95 Miggy, and we're not too far away from getting 99 Miggy, and this is no money spent. Um, that's it. Yeah.
He has been hammered. I have been homered. Like, comment, share, subscribe on all platforms. Catch you on the next one. Hammered and homers. Peace.